Natalie, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Lori. How about you?
Doing well. I
Cool.
wanted to take a moment and introduce myself to you all out there. My name is Lori Anderson. I am an infant-toddler TA specialist with Child Care Resource Center. And Natalie and I are a team working together on the Infant-Toddler Pilot Project for TA. And we're going to take a moment and just kind of ask each other some questions to really give you all some information about our project and our experience thus far as we are wrapping towards the middle of cohort 2. And also, just as far as my background, my experience, I've been in early childhood for over 25 years and have had every capacity from teacher assistant to teacher to director. And I've actually owned a preschool center before as well. So I have quite a bit of experience. However, this was my first TA experience in that actual role. So it has been a wonderful learning experience for me. We've had a lot of training that has been great and a lot that has been offered to us that really, I think, has prepared us in the field a lot more than I had coming into the position. And so I'm going to turn it over to Natalie for her introduction.
All right, Lori, awesome intro. Thanks for getting us started. I'm Natalie Bumgarner, Lori's other half in this project in Region 10 of North Carolina. Like Lori, I too have been in the child care field for a little over 25 years, but who's counting? And a lot of capacities as well. Teacher, behavioral specialist in different facilities. I've went on the corporate side for a while, and I've come back home full circle to TA projects. So Lori and I have had a wonderful couple of years together, and we've it's been a real joy to see what this project has evolved into. But, I was thinking, Lori, it's like there's just this elephant in the room when it comes to our project. It's like we started in the classroom, totally in person, completely intensive, but it's like there's this COVID thing. And it's like, I just want to hear your thoughts on that, because it's just something that we can't escape from. Like, how has COVID impacted us?
Right. It's definitely impacted, I think, our project. It's hard to believe, Natalie, we've already been doing this virtually for a year now, actually a little over a year now. I think we started mid-March. And it's just incredibly different than how when we began. We were in those classrooms a good 4+ hours a week. We were able to really interact, build deep relationships with our teachers and our directors because we were seeing their faces all of the time. COVID hit, we thought maybe it would be for a few weeks, a month, and then it just turned into 6 months to a year. And actually, I think we've learned a lot during this time with COVID. It has really kind of transformed the way that I think we look at TA, the way that we look at how we can be impactful in the most concise but yet intensive way that we can do virtually, which has been wonderful. One of the benefits that COVID actually brought to us as TAs, I believe, in our region, because we are full Region 10, where the other 2 sites are county-wide. We have 9 counties that we serve. And in those 9 counties, we have seen definitely a constraint when it comes to travel. And so when we were able to do it virtual, we were able to open it up to be able to kind of anyone could participate. And so I think that has been a positive for us. We've been able to really hone in. Another positive that we've had is being able to maximize the time we're spending with the teacher without having drive time. So our teachers are still doing MMCI, but we're doing it virtually. So it's saving the directors having to figure out how they're going to get them out of the building for that extra time to travel. And so we're able to get a lot more done in a concise amount of time. But I also think that doing COVID and doing TA virtually has had some negative effects in the fact that with TA for us in our different regions, we have really experienced, as I'm sure across the state has experienced, a lot of teacher shortage at this time. And so whether it was going through the months where we had higher numbers of positive COVID cases and our children and teachers were absent, it was just a challenge. but I think we overall have embraced COVID. We've learned new ways to manage, and our teachers in cohort 2 have been equally as positive in our relationships and with MMCI. So Natalie, I wanted to ask you, how did you feel the time requirement for our project worked for your teachers and directors?
Right. Well, I have put thought into that because of, like you say, it's like using the time, more concisely, but still staying intensive. So it's tricky for me. I think that if we take a step back and look at it, it's like I maybe wish it was in a more manageable framework for
Mhm.
teachers. Being offsite and virtual, and it does save drive time, but it creates more pull out time because we're not in the classroom to do the observation. It requires teacher time. So I brainstormed that. I'm not sure that I have the right answer, but it's like, would it be more effective to maybe deliver MMCI first, or at least get a few sessions of MMCI in before we start doing classroom observations or before we start using that language? And then, we do class assessments with teachers and pass assessments with directors, and we do sporadic observations, and we try to make all these improvements. And would it be a little bit more manageable for centers if we broke those off into chunks and pieces instead of all the assessments and training at once, all the observations and trainings at a different time? So, I think about that, but then there are other times that even take a step back, and it's like, do we need to even explain exactly what this program is about, exactly what class and pass is, even before we get started? Like, did your teachers even know what TA actually involved, what it was before you even started?
Right, Natalie, that's true. And no, a lot of my teachers had no idea what technical assistance was. Even some of my directors, and I know you and I've talked about this, some of our directors didn't even know about technical assistance and had not had anyone in their facility other than doing itters and eckers for them to get ready for assessment. They had never had anything beyond that surface. So building those relationships and really offering class through our technical assistance, I think brought a lot of strength, and I've had positive impact for my teachers who have really enjoyed having that extra support. And I know you and I have talked about how they'll call us and text us with all the little things, but even the exciting things that are happening in their class, which has been so warm and fuzzy and just such a positive for us, I think, as technical assistants. So Natalie, I wanted to lastly ask, what is one solid piece that you would say has been the most important in this project for our teachers and directors? What is one takeaway that you think we should strive to always do as teachers?
Right. Um, well, I think I'll kind of answer that. Like, I think the most important piece, and you would hope that it's the most solid piece, is being a reliable support
Yes.
for these teachers, classrooms, directors, and centers. I think that there are so many entities in their world that are coming in with clipboards and red pens and telling them everything they need to fix and everything that they're doing wrong, and maybe not giving that trusting, consistent support to get them there. So
Right.
I think that our program has offered them someone who isn't necessarily smacking the proverbial hand, but saying, hey, this is what you're doing right. Let's do more of it. It's that positive reinforcement. It's that catching them being good. And I think that the results that we've received are those negative behaviors just begin to trickle away when we build up and really focus on those positive ones. So yeah, I think it's the consistent, reliable, kind of like warm and fuzzy a little bit
Yes.
support that we've been able to give. The facts are there, the standards are there, the expectations are there, but they're delivered consistently and with trust and with care. So I really feel that's the most solid piece that we've offered.
I agree. That's wonderful. Well, thank
Awesome. Yeah. So much more to talk about, right, Lori?
you. Definitely a lot more to come in our series, and definitely a lot more wonderful things that we've seen throughout this project.
I agree. Well, thanks for this. This was fun.
Thank you.